I have Dollop tour dates to announce for the year 2024 of our Lord J-Town. We have our 10th anniversary show coming up in Los Angeles on April 27th. Guests are Karen Kilgariff and James Adomian. And then we are going to Australia, starting on May 13th in Perth, May 16th in Sydney, May 18th in Brisbane, May 20th in Canberra, May 22nd in Melbourne, and May 24th in Adelaide. You can get your tickets at dolloppodcast.com.
The future of farming is finally here. Terraforma's TerraPod solution is proven to increase profitability of your farm by optimizing soil health and reducing future input costs. Our technology helps farmland be more sustainable and save time and money for the great Colorado farmer. Better yields, better profits, and better for the environment. Visit terraformasoil.com to get your free consultation and start farming smarter. Terraforma. Start your soil journey with us today.
You are listening to The Dollop. This is an American history podcast. Each week, I read a story from American history to my friend
Gareth Reynolds, who has no idea what the topic is about.
Nor does he know his name. It's
Gareth. Gareth is my fucking name. Gareth is my goddamn motherfucking name.
Gary.
God damn it.
God, you want to hit a dude?
I'll do one bottle.
People say this is funny.
Not Gary, Gareth. Dave, okay.
Someone or something is tickling people.
Is it for fun?
And this is not going to become the Tickling Podcast.
Okay.
You are Queen Fakey of Made Up Town.
All hail Queen Shit of Liesville. A bunch of religious virgins go to mingle
And do what?
pray.
Hi, Gary.
No.
Nicely done, my friend. Good. Good for you. Way to keep that.
So that's a good.
That was good to be on
order
top
to do
of
it
things.
in.
That was good to be on top of things like you just were.
Thank you. And what's nice is I know you mean that.
January 1st, 1880.
Ooh, the 80s.
Elmer McCurdy was born to an unwed teenage mother, 17-year-old Sadie McCurdy, whose family gave the infant Elmer to her brother George and his wife to raise.
Okay.
That's what you did back then.
Yep.
Hide the shame.
Give him a horrible name. Give him to your brother.
George died of tuberculosis in 1890.
Awesome.
So when he was 10.
That's cool for him.
When he was a teenager, Elmer was told...
Shows at 10:30 on the 6th.
Oh, shows at 10:30 on
April
the 6th.
6th, 10:30 p.m.
When he was a teenager, Elmer was told his aunt was actually his mom, which he did not take well.
Most don't.
McCurdy grew resentful and became, quote, unruly and rebellious. He began to drink heavily and eventually ran away.
Okay.
He tried several jobs working as an apprentice plumber and then with his grandfather's as a plumber.
Okay. He was into the pipes.
Yep, so he must have come back. But then an economic downturn came and he was laid off. Then in 1900, his mother died of a ruptured ulcer. Not soon after, his grandfather died of kidney disease. So everyone's just fucking toast at this
Fun
point.
time for him.
He left his hometown and started drifting around. What else are you going to do?
Yeah, that's all
Start
you
the
do. Your
drifting.
name's Elmer. You've got
Yep.
no one. Fucking drift.
He got jobs as a plumber and a miner, but he had a hard time holding down a job because of his drinking.
Dave, I'm going to say this right now. Mm-hmm. I like the elements that are in play.
It's all coming together, right?
I like what I'm hearing for the most part
There's
here.
always a
it's
weird death in the family. A death of someone at a young age.
Yeah.
Always leads to
So
some
something
shit.
super impactful at a
Yeah.
young age that's negative, and then it leads to drinking, and then it leads to fun.
And there's going to be
For
some
us.
good decisions made.
I'm excited to hear what Elmer's doing.
In 1905, he was arrested for public intoxication, which how hard is it in 1905 to get arrested for public
You
intoxication?
have to be
Oh my
like
God.
fucking a liquor bottle.
Yeah.
So drink whiskey, penis.
You
Sir.
like this?
Sir.
In 1907, he joined the U.S. Army.
I like that that's next.
What else is he going to do?
Dude, that's what you do, bro.
He was assigned to Fort Leavenworth. McCurdy was a machine gun operator and was trained to use nitroglycerin for demolition purposes.
Okay. No, I will just say again, there's a buzzword I think we're going to be talking about soon.
He was honorably discharged on November 7th, 1910. After leaving the Army, McCurdy and friend Walter Shapplerock were arrested for possession of tools used for burglary. Those tools included chisels, hacksaws, funnels for nitroglycerin and gunpowder, and money sacks.
Wow. I mean, money sacks is like they just read a comic book.
I assume that it's just a big sack with a dollar sign on the side.
If it's not, I'll be extremely let down.
And on the other side, it says, for stealing.
Yeah, for stealing money.
McCurdy and his friend told the judge the tools were not intended for burglary purposes, but were tools they needed to work on a foot-operated machine gun they were inventing.
Is that...
So the chisels, hacksaws, funnels for
a good
nitroglycerin,
cover-up?
gunpowder, and money sacks.
But is that even like...
I'm just gonna go back one more time. Chisels,
Yeah.
hacksaws, funnels for nitroglycerin and gunpowder, and money sacks. So they were using that.
Yeah.
To
They're
build
MacGyvers, dude. They'll figure it out.
McCurdy was found not guilty by a jury in January 1911.
God bless our legal system. God bless it.
Awaiting trial, he met a man named Walter Jarrett. After being released, McCurdy met up with Jarrett. Jarrett gave McCurdy the nickname Missouri McCurdy,
Which he was under the impression rhymed.
They set out to be bank robbers, but they were not very good at it. They often blew up the money with the nitroglycerin used to blast open the safe. It turns out McCurdy had only received minimal training with nitroglycerin when he was in the Army.
Can you imagine being like the bank manager who comes in the next day and is just like, did they just blow it up?
Everything's blown up.
They just blew up the money?
Well, everything's blown up.
Just anarchists?
In March 1911, McCurdy and 3 men decided to rob the Iron Mountain, Missouri Pacific train. They successfully stopped the train and located the safe. McCurdy then put nitroglycerin on the safe's door to open it, but he used too much.
Jesus Christ. Just a little dab, bro.
The safe was destroyed in the blast, as was the majority of the money. Wouldn't you err on the side of caution
Yes.
with less?
You can put more on.
Yeah, you can put more
always
on after.
put more on.
Yeah. McCurdy and his partners managed to net $450 in silver coins, most of which were melted.
Cool. Do you guys take melted money?
Y'all take chunks?
Yeah, all right. So right here you can see I have about $1.25.
This is about 50 coins. Now they're all one here, and
How much of this melted
shape.
silver for a pack of smokes?
In September 1911, McCurdy and 2 men robbed the Citizens Bank in Chautauqua, Kansas.
Lovely.
They spent 2 hours breaking through the bank wall with a hammer.
Okay.
So far, I like the plan.
Yeah.
McCurdy then placed a nitroglycerin charge on the vault. The blast blew the vault door through the bank, destroying the interior of the bank, but did not damage the safe inside the vault.
Oh, God.
McCurdy then tried to blow the safe door open with nitroglycerin, but the charge failed to ignite. Then the lookout man got scared and ran off.
That's a good lookout man right there. Well, I don't like what I'm looking out for.
I would be watching it and going, yeah, I'm out of here.
I would be like, this man has only burned money. I'm not going with him.
McCurdy and his accomplices stole about $150 in coins that were in a tray outside the safe.
Jackpot, baby. This is the score we've been talking about.
The coin thieves.
One more of these and we can buy something like a TV.
They don't like bills.
Yeah.
Later that night, the men hopped a train, which took them to the Kansas border. They split up. McCurdy made his way to the ranch of a friend, Charlie Rivard, in Oklahoma. He stayed in a hay shed on the property for the next few weeks and drank heavily.
Nice. That's the kind of house guest you want.
That's the guy you want out there in the hay shed.
Yep.
Just a drunk man.
So maybe the house isn't the right place for you. How do you feel about just getting blackout drunk in the hay shed for a couple weeks?
Go ahead and lay out there in the.
There's hay. There's whiskey.
More hay.
There's hay. So you could just be there.
On October 4th, 1911, in Oklahoma, McCurdy and 2 men planned to rob a train after hearing that it contained $400,000 in cash.
Oh, dude, that's $150.
Yeah.
Right there, ready to
yeah.
go. $150.
It was intended as a royalty payment to the Osage Nation.
To the what?
American Indian
Oh.
tribe. But the men stopped a passenger train instead.
So
they stopped the wrong train.
Cool. All right, man. Everything's coming together.
The spectacular robbery netted them $46.
Woo!
2 demijohns of whiskey, which is, I think, like 5 gallons of whiskey.
Oh, dude, that's like $200,000 right there.
An automatic revolver, a coat, and the train conductor's watch.
A coat and a watch? Boom.
Boom!
That's worth it.
Same thing as $400K.
That's the same thing. I don't know. There's not much of a difference, really.
McCurdy was disappointed by the haul.
Why?
and returned to Rivard's ranch on October 6th, where he began binge drinking the demijohns of whiskey.
So he's back. So he's back in the hay shed.
It is a little telling that the best thing he's stolen so far was 2 giant things of whiskey.
Yeah, and that coat.
And the coat, right. By this time, he was also ill with tuberculosis, a mild case of pneumonia, and trichinosis. I know what trichinosis is.
Trichinosis is where you convince your buddies that you know how to rob, and you actually don't.
Isn't that the thing where you pick at yourself all the time?
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
No, that's pichinosis.
He stayed up drinking with some of the ranch hands before going to sleep in the hayloft the following morning. In the early morning hours of October 7th, the posse of 3 sheriffs tracked McCurdy to the hay shed using bloodhounds.
Yeah, who smelled bourbon? They were like, find bourbon. Find alcohol, dogs.
They surrounded the hay shed and waited for daylight. Sheriff Bob Fenton recalled. It began just around 7 o'clock. We were standing around waiting for him to come out when the first shot was fired at me. It missed me, and then he turned his attention to my brother, Stringer Felton. He shot 3 times at Stringer. And when my brother got under cover, he turned his attention to Dick Wallace. He kept shooting at all of us for about an hour. We fired back every time we could. We do not know who killed him. We found one of the jugs of whiskey which was taken from the train. It was about empty. He was pretty drunk when he rode up to the ranch last night. McCurdy was killed by a single gunshot wound to the chest, which he sustained while lying down. He was dead at the age of 31.
Quite a run.
Do you like that story?
From top to bottom, quite a run. Wait.
Huh?
Well.
What?
There's more.
But no one ever claimed Elmer's body. He had no family. He didn't even have any friends who cared enough to give him a memorial.
What's Dave?
And so Joseph L. Johnson, a funeral director, took his body, preserving it with a huge amount of embalming fluid laced with arsenic, effectively mummifying him. Johnson was so proud of his handiwork that he stood Elmer up on 2 feet right in his funeral parlor and charged people money to come see him. 5 cents.
What the fuck?
5 cents to see the body of Elmer McCurdy.
Imagine going into a funeral and seeing an embalmed standing man.
I'm here to bury my mom.
Hey, if you're looking at that, give me a nickel. Come on now, buddy. No stealing looks at Elmer.
The payment was placed in Elmer's open mouth.
I'm sorry?
That's where you put the money. It's like a slot.
Except it's a human man's mouth.
Okay, well, there's different kinds of slots.
The idea that you could have something more fucked up following the fact that there's a standing embalmed dead person in a funeral home.
Okay, well, you're not fun.
I'm not fun.
You're not fun.
I'm not fun. I'm not the kind of guy you want to go put nickels in dead people's mouth. I don't put nickels in corpses' heads.
Okay, well, don't come to one of my parties.
I'm not going to.
The Undertaker named him the Bandit That Wouldn't Give Up. At one point, Johnson's children...
Oh, God.
Put roller skates on Elmer. And rolled him about chasing smaller children as a prank. I mean, come on.
Dave.
That's pretty great.
So now it's Weekend at Bernie's? We're fucking...
Yes.
We're having
It's really Weekend at Bernie's.
Roller skate around. Have you met my friend Elmer? Oh, close his mouth or the change will drop out.
Eventually, a man claiming to be Elmer's long-lost brother showed up at the funeral parlor, incensed, demanding to get his brother's body back so he could give him a decent burial and preserve his tarnished dignity. And he took Elmer away. But Elmer didn't have a brother.
Jesus. Who do we root for now? Nobody?
2 weeks later, Elmer popped up as the main attraction at a carnival in West Texas.
Wait. So this fucking asshole just goes, just goes to the funeral home, gets pissed, he's like on a moral high ground, he takes it, and he's just like, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'll take it on tour.
Yeah, man.
Cool, just wanted to catch up.
These are carny rules.
Yeah, which are great rules.
Elmer then went on a tour throughout the country as an attraction with a carnival known as Great Patterson Shows. He was often displayed
as the bandit who wouldn't give up or the famous Oklahoma outlaw. Elmer made the rounds on a sideshow and carnival circuits, headlining next to bearded ladies and five-legged pigs.
Headlining?
Yeah, he was a headliner.
Okay.
And while he was subjected to a number of injustices during the tour, including the time a guy ripped off his arm and chased his secretary around the office with it.
What time was this okay? This is not all right. Oh, I'm just kidding. Oh, I got you. The look on your face when I almost hit you with that dead bandit's arm.
Elmer was achieving a type of immortality. He went down in history as a cowboy and a train robber, and even though he'd never successfully blown a safe in his lifetime, Elmer's hard, wrinkled body was placed next to the exhibit of Billy the Kid. This is the time when you went and looked at dead people.
Yeah, but that's just because...
Now we have photos online.
Yeah.
His time in sideshows went on for years, till the late 1960s.
I know, that's real. That's a real... By
this time, Elmer had been passed from hand to hand, his value lessening each time as a traveling freak show. Carnivals had become gimmicky and unfashionable.
It's bullshit. He's having like a bad career now. Like he was a popular corpse, and now people are like, I've seen it. I put nickels in his mouth. What else is next?
What, another corpse?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I get it. I can take your arm off.
Your freak show is bullshit. Eventually, one of his new owners drilled a hole into the back of his neck.
Oh, my God.
They say yellowish goo seeped out when they did so.
I mean...
Elmer was put into a contraception in a haunted house where he'd appear to twitch and jiggle when cars rode by.
This is a human man.
They called him the 3,000-year-old man.
And
1,000-year-old man, sorry.
They would have him twitch?
Well, he'd be twitching on the little... He'd be hanging, and then they'd have a thing that would make him, like, jiggle.
I mean...
He'd jiggle a little bit.
Yeah, okay. He'd jiggle a little bit.
You'd ride by in the car and he'd jiggle.
Oh, that's cool. That human man won't ever get closure on living.
Then he was moved to a crime museum in Los Angeles. So let me run down a little bit of where he was.
Yeah, also, if you want to plug any upcoming dates he has.
In 1928, he was part of the official sideshow that accompanied the Transamerica Foot Race, which was run from Los Angeles to New York. So he was like the official corpse of the Transamerican Foot Race.
We found our dead guy.
In 1933, he was acquired for a time by director Dwayne Esper to promote his exploitation film Narcotic. Exploitation film. Elmer was placed in the lobby of theaters as a dead dope fiend who Esper claimed had killed himself while surrounded by police after he robbed a drug store to sport his habit.
Oh, my God.
Could you imagine going to the ArcLight and there's just a body there?
No, I cannot imagine that.
When the owner of Elmer died in 1949, Elmer was placed...
Owner is a very unfair term for this person. Elmer was the owner of Elmer.
I disagree.
Of course you do.
When the owner of Elmer died in 1949, Elmer was placed in storage in a Los Angeles warehouse. In 1964, Elmer was lent to filmmaker David F. Friedman. He eventually made a brief appearance in Friedman's 1967 film The Freak, or She Freak. In 1968, Elmer was sold along with other wax figures for $10,000 to Spoonie Singh, the owner of the Hollywood Wax Museum.
Oh, God, the wax. So the wax. Oh, God, it's a man. It is a man. It is.
I'm not sure about that.
It's not fair.
Singh had bought Elmer for two Canadian men who exhibited them at a show at Mount Rushmore. While there, Elmer sustained damage in a windstorm. The tips of his ears, along with his fingers and toes, were blown off.
Oh my fucking God!
The men.
So what is? Keep going.
What?
Well, what? Like, at what point does he sort of lose value? He's not even a man anymore. He's an earless, toeless, fingerless, fucking embalmed corpse.
The men eventually returned McCurdy back to Singh, who decided that the corpse looked too gruesome and not lifelike enough to exhibit. Singh then sold Elmer to Ed Learsh, owner of The Pike, an amusement park in Long Beach, California. There, McCurdy's corpse was spray painted.
Oh, God.
In the Laugh in the Dark Funhouse exhibit at The Pike and hung there for 4 years. On December 8th, 1976, the production crew of the television show $6 Million Man were filming scenes for the Carnival of Spies episode at The Pike. During the shoot, a prop man went to move what he thought was a papier-mâché mannequin that was hanging from the gallows. The crewman grabbed him, tried to pull him down from the hangman's... He grabbed him and tried to pull him down, but the hangman's arm ripped off. Oh. Everyone laughed at first until they took a closer look. Inside the arm was a human bone. The hangman was real, a mummified corpse. The police were called, who then called the paramedics, reporting a case of severe dehydration.
Oh boy. Get the IV, Charles. This man's thirsty.
When the paramedics showed up, everyone had a laugh. The completely bizarre scenario made it easy for people to poke fun, but this was a corpse of a real man who had read a real life. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office attempted to pin down exactly who this man was. Dr. Joseph Choi conducted an autopsy and determined that the body was that of a human male who had died of a gunshot wound to the chest with bullets from the turn of the century. And strangely, they also had found a corroded penny in the man's mouth, dated 1924, and several ticket stubs to a wax museum and the Museum of Crime in his mouth.
His mouth. His fucking mouth.
Well, that's the slot.
Yeah, I know it's the slot.
The body was completely petrified, covered in wax, and layers of phosphorus paint. It weighed approximately 50 pounds and was 63 inches in height.
50 pounds?
Some hairs were still visible on the sides and back of his head, while the ears, big toes, and fingers were missing.
Yeah, hey, big deal, right?
The examination also revealed incisions from his original autopsy and embalming. Tests conducted on the tissue showed that the presence of arsenic, which was a component of embalming fluid in the late 1920s. Tuberculosis was found, as well as scars. The bullet jacket was found, and it was determined that type was used between 1905 and 1940. Investigators then contacted the son of the man who had owned the Museum of Crime, who confirmed the body was that of Elmer McCurdy. Ugh. The news of what happened to Elmer was on TV, radios, and in newspapers. Funeral homes called and offered to bury him for free, but the LA coroner decided to wait to see if any relatives would come to claim his body.
No, don't play the relative claim body game with this fucking thing anymore.
That's how it all started.
Yeah,
in the first
that's
place.
What got us into this mess.
No. Fred Olds, who represented the Indian Territory posse of Oklahoma Westerns, eventually convinced the coroner to allow him to bury the body in Oklahoma. On April 2nd, 1977, a funeral procession was conducted to transport McCurdy to the Boot Hill section of the Summit View Cemetery in Guthrie, Oklahoma. A graveside service attended by approximately 300 people was conducted, after which McCurdy was buried next to another outlaw, Bill Doolin, whose corpse Elmer had spent time with in sideshows.
That doesn't make them friends.
Well, but yeah, I think it might.
No, it doesn't.
I think it's nice that they were reunited.
They're not embalmed corpse pals.
It was nice that they were finally put back together.
Hey, old buddy!
His tombstone reads...
Put pennies in my mouth.
His tombstone reads, Elmer McCurdy, shot by sheriff's posse in Osage Hills, October 7th, 1911, returned to Guthrie, Oklahoma from Los Angeles County, California for burial, April 22nd, 1977. That's 66 years of fun.
And also, that's bullshit. The tombstone should be very frank with what happened. And it should just be like, here lies Elmer, a man who was recently buried and carried on as an embalmed sideshow for 60 years.
Never stopped working.
Elmer wouldn't quit.
Would not retire.
We tried, but his arm would just rip off. We tried to get him to retire.
To ensure that McCurdy's body would not be stolen, 2 feet of concrete was poured over the casket.
It's just this poor guy. It's all or nothing.
Yeah, but what's the difference? I would love to have my body out there torn around. What's the big deal?
Well,
you got to think about bodies. Like, I also wouldn't mind being thrown in a body farm.
No, but I like I did a bit about how I want to be stuffed.
Yeah.
And I want to have my catchphrases on a little sort of like keychainy button on my chest.
Oh, yeah.
But no, there's not, and I'm dead, whatever, keep me up, fuck me, do whatever the fuck you want.
Wow.
Okay. I'm not
weird.
Well, maybe I'm off record on it. Don't fuck me. But it doesn't really matter. But when you hear this, it's just, there's no morality. There's no...
It's great.
It's not great. It's not great. There's no... Like, how nobody at any point was like, isn't this fucked up to just be using him to make money?
I don't think so.
I mean, his brother came to his defense and took him on a Carnival Roadshow.
I think it's a pretty great story. I think it's a story that any man would want.
No.
For their corpse.
Also, it is bullshit when people are starting to be like, I don't know, kind of over the body thing. You're like, this fucking motherfucker.
I think you see a lot of parallels in yourself in there, and that's what's really upsetting.
It's a classic Los Angeles tale. You're hot 1 minute, the next minute you got no toes, fingers, or ears. You're out.
You're hanging in a Long Beach funhouse.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's McCurdy.
Dude, thank you so much for teaching me about him.
You are welcome.
That's really a sweet tale, and I think, again, it just illustrates how normal and good we always are and have been.
Totally agree.
Okay, man. Good talk.
Good talk.
Thanks so much. I'm going to get some whiskey.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, it's Gareth. Not Gary, stop it. Gare Force. Listen, I've got a bunch of stand-up shows coming up, and I want to see you there. We can hug. I will be at Rooster Teeth Feathers in Sunnyvale, California, April 18th, 19th, and 20th. Then I will be in Chattanooga, Tennessee, June 18th. I will be at Nashville, at Zanies, June 19th. I will be in Huntsville, Alabama, June 20th. I'll be in Atlanta, Georgia, June 21st, June 22nd. Then I will be in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, June 26th. Then I'll be in East Providence, Rhode Island, June 27th. Then I'll be in Boston, Massachusetts, and Boston, June 28th. That's 2 shows. I will be in Springfield, Massachusetts, June 29th, Rochester, New York, June 30th, and then July 5th through the 6th. Canada, I've heard your prayers, and I will answer them. I will be in Toronto. So come join me at the Comedy Bar. Go to GarethReynolds.com for tickets and information. That's right, Gareth Force. We're calling you up. It's the big time. The big leagues. This went poorly.
Unleash the magic of the sea with Orca's Our Shared Future, where science, art, and pop culture meet in celebration of our relationship with these fascinating and awe-inspiring ocean giants. The exhibition is now open at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. Plan your visit today at dmns.org.